Where is indie music going? I was pretty excited this past week when I put independent music in Google News, and the first thing that came up was my article that I had written for sacpress.com. And it was about how I explored indie scenes around the country. Not physically, I didn't get in my car and drive around from club to club, but what I did was I went on Reverb Nation, which is an indie site that hosts over 1 million indie bands, and they divide the world up into regions, and every region you could think of is on this site, and they give like a top 40 or whatever of each genre for each region. So for like Sacramento, for example, my band Tangent Sunset is number 11 on the alternative chart on Reverb Nation, and it's been there for a couple years now. So what I'm doing, why spend all this time researching indie music? Well, partly it's for my other website, which is playlistresearch.com, which is for music researchers and music lovers, and it's for basically putting playlists together. And I figure what would help indie music is if more people included indie songs in their playlists. And to get people thinking about indie playlists, I wrote this article about how each region has its own sound and its own set of parameters that defines the local music scene. Some regions don't really have a big music scene, I found. And then there are some regions that are very traditional and pretty much stick with heritage sounds like blues or country or jazz. In fact, most of the country is that way. But when you get out on the West Coast and in major cities like Chicago or New York City or Atlanta, then you get more of a bigger scene of a wide variety of music. But what I did find from studying region to region was that hip-hop and hard rock are still pretty big as far as the number of bands, number of acts who perform that kind of music. And a lot of it to me sounds like they're just copying the national stars, but then again, I did find some original stuff. Sacramento ended up seeming like a really good independent market compared to a lot of the country, from what I found. We have incredible talent here, and of course, it's rooted in bands that have already been signed, like Cake, and I think Cake is still the leader in town as far as most successful band besides Tesla that came out of Sacramento. And then of course they relocated, but we still think of them as a Sacramento band. So one of the bands I want to bring up that I found was Trip Sitter. They're in Las Vegas. Sahara Smith is in Austin, Texas. She's kind of a bluesy country singer, and she stood out to me as someone who's just unique compared to a lot of people in that genre. And I've actually known who she was for a couple years now. And just a lot of the other names we know about, like Ani DeFranco is in Buffalo, Yola Tango is in New Jersey, and Athens has lots of great artists. Corey Smith made the news out of there when he became a millionaire without even getting radio airplay, just doing lots of shows. So that's one of the things I've learned in my exploration of indie music around the country. So why indie music? Why all this talk about indie music? Well, we know that the major labels, and there are 4 at the moment, but soon to be 3 it looks like, they're really focused on really putting out a lot of the same sounding music over and over again. Listen to this quote I just got from the head of Universal Music Group. He told the New Yorker last week in early September 2012 that we're not in the business of art, something to that effect. We're not in the art business. See, how lost is that? How lost and confused is that? Head of the biggest music company saying we're not in the art business. Really? Now, keep in mind the music business is underwater financially. It's been floundering now for over a decade, and it's just not turning the profits that it used to. Compare that, the top guy of the music industry saying that we're not in the business of art, yet compare that with the top company in the world now, which is Apple, which makes any music company look like an ant at this point. Apple is in the business of art, and they will tell you that. They market to artists, they market to people with artistic sensibilities. Their computers are a work of art. So are their iPhones and their iPads, and everything that they make is very artistic. So we need to lose the notion, the old world, outdated, losing notion that art doesn't sell and that art has nothing to do with commerce. As soon as we get past that, we're going to have a better music industry. Now, that might not include the 4 big labels, or 3. It's about to become 3. I think those labels will still be around only because they have big catalogs of timeless, legendary music. But they really haven't been putting out big hits in a long time. We need an industry that focuses on art and put vision and importance back into art, and quit pretending that art has nothing to do with business. And if the indie world can do that, then it will rival the major label world. So anyway, that's my report today on indie music, and let's hope it continues to get better. I'm always finding better indie music all the time, and I put those playlists on playlistresearch.com, and I'm hoping that it'll bring attention to SAC TV and the Sacramento music scene.